Welcome to Moments in History Channel. When you think of ancient Egypt, what comes to mind? Pyramids, mummies, the Sphinx? How about a queen so brilliant, so charismatic, and so politically savvy that she brought the mighty Roman Republic to its knees? Today, we're peeling back the layers of myth and Hollywood glamour to uncover the true story of the last pharaoh of Egypt, Cleopatra VII. Born in 69 BCE, Cleopatra wasn't just another royal. She was a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty, a line of Greek rulers who had controlled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries. But unlike her ancestors, Cleopatra did something revolutionary. She embraced her adopted homeland. While her family spoke Greek, she took the time to learn the Egyptian language, the first in her dynasty to do so. This wasn't just a party trick, it was a masterful political move. It allowed her to connect with her people, to understand their beliefs, and to rule not just as a conqueror, but as one of their own. She presented herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis, weaving her own image into the very fabric of Egyptian culture. Cleopatra inherited a kingdom that was rich in resources, but teetering on the edge of chaos. The real threat wasn't from within, but from the west. The Roman Republic was expanding, gobbling up territories and turning kings into puppets. Cleopatra knew that to survive, Egypt needed more than just wealth. It needed powerful friends, and she knew exactly where to find them. Her world was turned upside down when she was just a teenager. Ascending to the throne at 18, she was forced to co-rule with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. But this was no happy family affair. The court was a snake pit of intrigue and betrayal. Powerful advisors manipulated her brother, turning him against her and eventually forcing her into exile. A lesser ruler might have given up, but not Cleopatra. She was determined to reclaim her throne, and her opportunity came in the form of the most powerful man in the world, Julius Caesar. Caesar arrived in Egypt hot on the heels of his rival Pompey. Cleopatra saw her chance. According to legend, she had herself smuggled into the palace, rolled up in a carpet, and presented to the Roman general. Imagine Caesar's surprise. He was immediately captivated, not just by her beauty, but by her intellect, her wit, and her sheer audacity. She wasn't just asking for help, she was proposing an alliance. She argued that a stable, friendly Egypt under her rule would be far more valuable to Rome than a chaotic puppet state. Caesar agreed. With the backing of his legions, Cleopatra's enemies were defeated, her brother was killed, and she was restored to her throne. But their relationship was more than just political. They became lovers, and their union produced a son, Caesarion, whom Cleopatra declared Caesar's heir. She even traveled to Rome, living in one of Caesar's villas. The Roman public was scandalized and fascinated in equal measure. Here was this foreign queen, living openly with their leader. She was a symbol of a world changing too fast for many to comprehend. But this golden age came to a bloody end in 44 BCE, with the assassination of Julius Caesar on the floor of the Roman Senate. Cleopatra's world was once again thrown into turmoil. Her protector was gone, and Rome was plunged into a brutal civil war. She had to navigate a treacherous new political landscape, one dominated by Caesar's vengeful heir Octavian and his ambitious general Mark Antony. Once again, Cleopatra needed an ally, and she set her sights on Mark Antony. He was a brilliant military commander, but also a man known for his love of luxury and pleasure. Cleopatra knew exactly how to make an entrance. When Antony summoned her to Tarsus to question her loyalty, she didn't arrive as a nervous subordinate. She sailed up the Cydnus River in a magnificent golden barge, dressed as the goddess Venus, surrounded by attendants. The air was filled with perfume, and the spectacle was so breathtaking that Antony, who was waiting to judge her, instead found himself invited to a lavish banquet aboard her ship. Just as with Caesar, Antony was completely enchanted. They formed a powerful alliance, both political and deeply personal. For the next decade, they were the ultimate power couple of the ancient world. Together, they ruled the eastern half of the Roman territories from their glittering court in Alexandria. They had 3 children and lived a life of legendary opulence. They even formed their own society, the inimitable Livers, dedicated to feasting and revelry. To many, it seemed they were building a new Hellenistic empire, a fusion of Greek, Egyptian, and Roman cultures, with Alexandria as its capital. But back in Rome, their relationship was being used as a weapon against them. Octavian, a master of propaganda, portrayed Antony as a weak man bewitched by a foreign seductress. He painted Cleopatra as a decadent and dangerous threat to Roman values. He claimed she wanted to move the capital of the empire to Egypt and rule as its queen. The Roman people, already wary of powerful women and foreign influence, began to turn against Antony. The stage was set for a final, cataclysmic confrontation. The conflict came to a head in 31 BCE at the Battle of Actium, a massive naval engagement off the coast of Greece. The stakes couldn't have been higher. It was a battle for control of the entire Roman world. Antony and Cleopatra commanded a huge fleet, but Octavian's admiral, Agrippa, was a tactical genius. He trapped their fleet in a bay, and the battle turned into a disaster. Seeing that all was lost, Cleopatra fled the battle with her squadron, and Antony, abandoning his men, followed her. Their forces were utterly crushed. The end was now inevitable. Octavian pursued them to Egypt. Antony, hearing a false rumor that Cleopatra had already died, took his own life. The story is tragic. Mortally wounded, he was carried to the mausoleum where Cleopatra had barricaded herself, and he died in her arms. Now, she was alone, her army defeated, her lover dead, and her enemy at the gates of her city. Octavian captured her and planned to parade her through the streets of Rome in his victory procession, a final humiliation for the proud queen. But Cleopatra would not be shamed. She had one last move to play. According to the most famous account, she arranged for a basket of figs to be brought to her, with an asp, a venomous snake, hidden inside. She chose to die on her own terms, as the queen of an independent Egypt, rather than live as a Roman captive. Her death in 30 BCE marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the end of the age of the pharaohs. Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire. So, who was the real Cleopatra? Was she the seductive siren of Roman propaganda? Or was she a brilliant and capable ruler who did everything in her power to protect her kingdom? The truth is, she was both, and so much more. She was a linguist who spoke 9 languages, a naval commander, a skilled diplomat, and a shrewd administrator who kept her country prosperous in a time of constant war. She was a mother who fought for her children's future and a patriot who fought for her country's independence. Her story is a timeless reminder of the complexities of power, ambition, and love. She dared to challenge the greatest empire the world had ever known, and for a time, she held its destiny in her hands. Her legacy has fascinated historians, writers, and artists for over 2,000 years, proving that while her reign may have ended in tragedy, her story is immortal. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Moments in History channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. See you next time.